This is Taiwan Insider, a weekly news roundup brought to you by Radio Taiwan International. I'm Andrew Ryan.
And I'm Natalie Tso, and here's your week in a minute.
Protests at Hong Kong's airport have led to chaos, cancelled flights, and clashes with the police. President Tsai has said that clashes between democracy activists and police are a concern. The Foreign Ministry says it will offer aid to Hong Kong people in Taiwan who are in need. Southern Taiwan has been hit with severe flooding after heavy rainfall early in the week. The flooding has left one dead in Kaohsiung and caused power outages in Tainan and Pingdong. Taipei Mayor Ko Wen-je says he'd rather stay mayor than serve as running mate to tycoon Terry Guo. There had been speculation that Ko and Guo might run together in next year's presidential race, but neither seems willing to play second fiddle. Another NPP lawmaker has gone independent, and the NPP chairman has resigned as the party splits over its future. Some feel the NPP should stick to providing an alternative to Taiwan's two main parties, while others want to back President Tsai's re-election campaign. 20-year-old swimmer Wang has secured a spot at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. That came as he won gold in the 200-meter individual medley at the Hong Kong Open Swimming Championships. And that's your Week in a Minute.
Every week at the top of our show, we each come up with a word of the week that we think describes a show. Andrew, you ready to guess my word?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Please press prize? Pride.
Pride.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to be talking about some sources of national pride today, such as bubble tea and beef noodles. And also, I think we also have a big sense of pride when we see Taiwanese American making it big in the U.S. And we'll be talking about the first Taiwanese American to run for U.S. president, Andrew Yang. I also spoke with the head of the Yang Gang in Taiwan and the head of Universal Basic Income in Taiwan, which is his landmark policy. And I will also tell you about some of the high-profile Taiwanese American politicians in the U.S.
Awesome. Very good. I like that.
All a sense of pride here.
Very positive word. All right. Are you ready for my word?
Yes.
All right. Is there a word?
V. Victory. No. Vi? Vying?
Yes.
Ah.
The reason why I chose vying is because we've seen a lot of people vying for attention.
Right.
For example, presidential candidates that are vying to become the nominee or to become now the winner to become president. Also, we have in Hong Kong, of course, we're seeing protesters and police each vying for an upper hand in that conflict there. But in a more positive note, we saw in Week in a Minute that there are athletes from Taiwan who are vying for a spot in the Olympics.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. So many people vying for different positions and ideas to be heard and seen.
What a great word.
Thank you. Also, we have this for you today. Let's have a look at this photo. Now, recently, this building, they've announced that they're going to open it up for foreign tourists to stay for a night. And as you can see, in that building, there is a guard at the front door. That might give you a hint as to what kind of a building it is. Another hint, I have never been inside that building before.
And the stay is free. So
yes.
This is very exciting. You have to stay tuned to the end of the show to find out where that place is.
In the past several weeks, we've talked a lot about the presidential elections here in Taiwan, and today we want to shift our attention to the United States. Now, there's one candidate who captured a lot of attention this past week, and he has a Taiwanese connection. Of course, we're talking about Andrew Yang.
He was originally seen as a fringe candidate, but this week he became the 9th person to qualify for the 3rd Democratic debates. To qualify, you need to have 2% support in 4 major polls and at least 130,000 unique donors across 20 states. His campaign is gaining momentum. Now let's take a look at a recent campaign video to see how he's getting his message across to voters.
I think a lot of people may have started hearing some rumblings about this Andrew Yang person.
We're in the midst of the greatest economic transformation in the history of our country, and Democrats should be laser focused on addressing that reality rather than focusing on the symptom, which is President Trump.
Now, if you know anything about me and this campaign, you know there's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month.
And all those things are true.
Suddenly, Yang was everywhere.
Andrew, you've had a lot of interesting momentum behind your campaign, certainly a lot of social media attention behind your campaign.
Do you remember voting for the $4 trillion bailout of Wall Street? I sure as hell don't. People are rallying around the fact that we can make this happen. We can make our economy trickle up.
Andrew Yang has different, interesting ideas. Here's my fun prediction. I believe Andrew Yang will pull into the top 6.
Andrew Yang, I mean, that's an out-of-the-box choice.
And way out of the box.
He's doing quite well.
We have to fight for a brighter future for the people of this country in 2020. Let's make history in 2020. We're going to go all the way to the White House.
Now, Andrew Yang's parents are from Taiwan, and they have actually retired here. They immigrated to the U.S. and met while studying at UC Berkeley. Now, Andrew Yang's dad was a researcher at GE and IBM and has over 69 patents. Andrew Yang was born in the United States. He is 44 years old, and he's married with 2 young sons.
He's a successful entrepreneur. He was recognized by the Obama administration for setting up Venture for America, which sends top college grads to help revitalize second-tier cities through entrepreneurship. That is where he witnessed America's economic problems firsthand and decided to run for president.
Unlike Trump, he says the problem is not immigrants, but the fact that jobs are being replaced by artificial intelligence or AI. A very high-profile supporter came out this past week. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says he supports Yang and his universal basic income policy.
Yang supporters call themselves the Yang Gang, and today I just spoke with the head of the Yang Gang in Taiwan, Peter Wang, and also the head of Universal Basic Income in Taiwan, Tyler Prochazka. They tell me what we can learn from Andrew Yang and how Universal Basic Income could work in Taiwan.
I believe that if he is elected president, UBI will become much more mainstream, and it's something that could catch on globally. You look at a lot of the tech leaders in the world. A lot of them have talked about how automation will displace a lot of workers, and I think this is something that will catch on internationally. And I think that Taiwan is definitely a possibility if you look at the way Taiwan society once went from a manufacturing to now a more service economy. You know, the middle class here, I think, has been gutted also.
Well, Tyler, you are promoting a universal basic income for Taiwan. Tell me what you're doing here and how you're promoting it.
So in Taiwan, we focus on stagnant wages, particularly for young people in Taiwan. And we think that a lot of that is due to the fact of automation. In Asia in particular, there was a study from MIT that predicted over 51% of jobs in Asia could be displaced by automation.
Really?
And even Foxconn, the Taiwanese company, they want to automate 70% of their manufacturing jobs away. So the trend is already happening. Taiwan has the 6th highest density of robots in the world, so we know that there are companies here that are attempting to automate their jobs away. And what does that mean for the average worker in Taiwan? In the past 20 years, wages, as we all know, have been stagnant while the GDP continues to grow. So where does that money go? It goes to the people that own the robots. So it's not just a United States issue, it is a global issue, and it's an issue here in Taiwan as well.
And how plausible is it to have the money to fund this kind of program, whether in the US or Taiwan?
Clearly, Taiwan has some political and cultural pushback to taxation. So how do we convince people? I think it is using the idea of its compensation. When you pollute the air, when you use water, when you pollute water, or when you use natural resources, that's the domain of all Taiwanese people. So there should be some compensation back. And when you phrase it like that, you do get a lot more support for something like UBI funded by pollution taxes or carbon taxes.
And what kind of income are you thinking about for people in Taiwan?
We studied 10,000 NT to 12,000 NT for adults and half that for young people. And if you incorporate the taxation that would be along with that program, it would be about 4% of Taiwan's GDP. After you claw back from wealthier people or polluters, they would pay back a portion of their income through that basic income through taxes.
So how much does the conversation in the US affect the conversation in Taiwan? Because it is on the table now with Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Do you think people in Taiwan are paying attention at all?
at least from what we see, it's really revved us up. We've gotten a lot of people that come to us because they saw Andrew Yang in Taiwan media. So that connection, because he happens to be Taiwanese American, has really helped us in our promotion. One of our biggest posts was talking about Andrew Yang and his connection with Taiwan and the UBI dividend. So if he's successful in America, I really think it's going to be helpful to us here, because Taiwanese people do look at what America's doing and they say, well, America's not doing this, so why should Taiwan? So if we get this as a serious discussion in the United States, I certainly think it's going to be a discussion here.
Now, for the full interview, you can check out Taiwan Insider on Facebook. Now, Natalie, Yang is not the only Taiwanese American in national politics, right?
That's right, and that's why I'm going to introduce to you the Taiwanese Americans in the U.S. Congress and the Cabinet. That's the topic of today's Taiwan Explained. In today's Taiwan Explained, I'm going to introduce the Taiwanese Americans who are currently serving in the U.S. Congress and Cabinet.
All right, fascinating, Natalie. I'm looking forward to it.
Great.
You ready?
Yes.
All right, you have 60 seconds on the clock. Go.
All right. First is Elaine Chao. She was born in Taipei and moved to the U.S. when she was 8. She is the Secretary of Transportation and was the Secretary of Labor in the George W. Bush administration. Her husband is Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. The power couple have their share of controversies regarding conflicts of interest in Kentucky. Elaine and her father, James, met with President Tsai Ing-wen in Taiwan in 2016. He founded the Foremost Group, a shipping company with extensive ties to the Chinese government. Now let's turn to the U.S. Congress, where there are 2 Taiwanese Americans. Ted Lieu was born in Taipei and moved to the U.S. when he was 3. He has served as U.S. Representative of California since 2015. His district covers many of LA's beach cities, and he is the Assistant Whip for House Democrats. And then there's Grace Meng. She has represented Queens in New York City since 2013. Grace was born in the U.S. Her father, Jimmy Meng, is from Taiwan, and then... got that mixed up.
Very close.
Okay, let me talk about Jimmy Meng. He is from Taiwan, and he is a former New York State Assemblyman.
Excellent. So there are also other people at like the state and local level too, right?
That's right. There are 2 in California and 1 in Boston. Let's take a look. Ling Chang is the first Taiwan-born California state senator. She moved to the U.S. when she was 3. She represents parts of Los Angeles and neighboring counties. And then let's take a look at David Cho. He represents East San Francisco in the California State Assembly. His parents are Hakka and from Taiwan. And we also have a rising star on the East Coast, Michelle Wu. She is the first Asian American member of the Boston City Council and the first woman of color to serve as its president. Already in her 3rd term, she is still the youngest member at age 34, and her parents are from Taiwan.
Wow, she's still the youngest member
right.
in her 3rd term.
And she's
That's
very
incredible.
popular, so I think she has a great career in front of her.
Oh, fantastic. Well,
very
thank
exciting.
you. Yes, and thank you very much, Natalie. That's it for today's Taiwan Explained. Up next, Taiwan by Number. Every week in Taiwan by Number, we share with you a facet of life in Taiwan by way of a number. And this week, we're going to be talking about a beloved Taiwanese dish called beef noodle soup.
Yes, everyone I know loves that in my family.
It's very popular here in Taiwan. It has a fascinating history, and some people would even argue that it is the national dish of Taiwan.
That's right.
So my question for you is, the history of beef noodle soup in Taiwan. Roughly what year do you think it began here in Taiwan?
1949.
1949? Are you
Roughly.
sure?
Roughly.
All right. It's a good guess, but is it correct? First of all, we're going to show you a report. The Taipei Beef Noodle Soup Competition is looking for the best bowl of beef noodle soup in Taiwan. We're going to show you this report, and I dare you not to salivate. Let's have a look.
Savory, chewy, soupy, beefy, wholesome Taiwanese goodness. That's what you'll get in a bowl of beef noodle soup. It's a dish that Taiwan is well known for, and every county and city has its own take on this respected food. Who makes it the best, though? That will be decided at the 2019 Taipei International Beef Noodle Festival competition in September. Contenders range from popular street stalls all the way up to 5-star hotels. Even Taiwanese actor Sao Xing is throwing his hat into the ring. His secret weapon, his mother's recipe. A total of 56 beef noodle soup shops have made it into the preliminary round. Liu Qingzong from Jiayi is among the competitors. He won an honorable mention last year, but this time he's gunning for the top prize. He says he uses 16 different Chinese medicinal herbs for his specialty soup. Competition is fierce, and that means it's important to stand out. There are tea-flavored beef noodle soups, and one bowl is even topped with steak-grade meat. Will this year see a new champion crowned, or will old favorites continue their reign? Judges from all over the world will soon decide. Results will be announced on September 24th.
All right, so before the video, I asked you, Natalie, when the history of beef noodle soup in Taiwan began roughly. You said 1949.
That's right.
Let's have a look at the answer.
I was right.
Right, 1949. Now, we have to say the reason why it begins in 1949 is because a lot of the people who make beef noodle soup brought the recipes with them to Taiwan from China. Now, of course, there was a big influx of people from China coming to Taiwan in 1949 at the end of the Civil War. They brought two different kinds of beef noodle soup with them. A lot of Chinese Muslims in Gansu province in Lanzhou.
Really?
They brought the clear beef noodle soup, qingdun de.
Right.
And then, of course, we have the more spicy version, the hongshao, the red braised beef noodle soup from Sichuan province. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how it's made. I looked up a ton of recipes in preparation for this. And I want to ask you, of course, an important part is the stock, right? So, for how long, on average, do these recipes say that you should simmer all of the many spices and ingredients to make the perfect stock?
That's a good question. 8 hours?
8 hours? It's a very good answer. Let's have a look and see what the average time is.
Only 3 hours. That's easier than I thought.
3 hours.
Good.
Now, some say you could do it in 2, but like if you really want a good stock, do 3. But some restaurants will actually do it for 24 hours. Can you believe that?
Must be good.
So now I want to talk a little bit about beef in Taiwan. Now, as I mentioned, beef noodle soup it wasn't a thing here before 1949, and that's partially because people didn't really eat beef before the 1970s. And the reason why people don't eat beef in Taiwan, still even to this day, is because cows and bulls are considered work animals. So out of respect, a lot of farmers won't eat them.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
It is kind of nice, right?
It's a nice thought.
It's pretty
it's
sweet.
considerate.
Yeah, it's a member of the family, right? The cows and the bulls.
They help you a lot.
So I want to talk a little bit about pork, and then we're going to compare it to beef. So pork is king here in Taiwan. We eat more pork than any other type of meat, including seafood, in Taiwan, even though we're an island. Now, we can actually provide 86% of the pork that we consume in Taiwan just because the pigs are raised here. What percentage of the beef can we provide for our beef needs here in Taiwan?
Oh, wow. 30?
30%? Let's have a look at this answer.
Oh my gosh,
Only
so little.
5%.
Wow.
And a lot of the beef that we consume is imported from the United States, from Australia, from Japan. And of course, this again goes back to the fact that a lot of people see beef, or they see their cows and bulls as kind of a member of the family. And we don't have a whole lot of room to raise cattle here in Taiwan. Now, I'm going to move on to the last question here today. I want to talk about the most expensive bowl of beef noodle soup in all of Taiwan. Now, the average bowl of beef noodle soup, how much would you pay for it?
150 maybe?
Yeah, that's a good
NT,
guess.
about $5 US.
So definitely less than 200 NT, less than $6 US. Now, there is a restaurant in Taiwan called Niu Baba, and they've actually even been reported on CNN and other international media. They have a presidential bowl of beef noodle soup. How much do you think they charge for one bowl of that soup?
In NT dollars?
You can do NT or US. Let's do US dollars.
250?
250 US dollars? All right, let's have a little look at the answer.
Oh wow, even more than that.
318
one bowl.
US dollars for a bowl.
Must be some good soup there.
Oh, it is a very special soup. They include all different
Have you
cuts
tried
of
it,
beef.
Andrew?
No. What's fascinating about this is you think it's a crazy price, 318 US dollars, 10,000 Taiwan dollars. But actually, For the first 14 years this restaurant was open, they let people pay whatever they thought it was worth.
Oh, and what did people pay?
Well, by the year 2007, they decided to set the menu price. And so they asked a lot of their repeat customers, and a lot of them said 10,000 Taiwan dollars.
No way. Are you serious?
Yes.
I can't believe that.
That's crazy.
I can't believe that. It's hard to believe.
So you wouldn't eat.
That's a good marketing gimmick. I don't know if it's...
Would you try it? Would you try that bowl?
I'm not going to pay for it. I'd try it, of course.
I might buy a bowl
expensive.
and I would share it with like 10 friends. Everyone has one bite, right?
That might work. We should do that. Well, we have to get everyone else on board,
We'll
right?
get everybody else on board. We'll talk about that later.
Okay, so that is our Taiwan by number, and stay tuned for hashtag Taiwan to see what's trending on social media. This week on hashtag Taiwan, RTI social media guru Leslie Lau joins us again. Hey, Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
How's it going, guys?
Good. What do you have for us for today?
Well, it's been a rough week, you guys. Let me tell you something. It's been really, really rough. Why? Trouble is a-brewing.
Brewing.
If you watched last week's show, you'll know that we talked about a Taiwanese tea shop chain that got caught up in political controversy. Well, since then, even more chains have been steeped in turmoil.
Steeped in turmoil.
That's right.
Spill the tea.
Spill the tea. I'll tell you what I mean. This image here has been making the rounds on the internet. In it, you'll see a list of Taiwanese tea shop chains that have come out in support of China. That, of course, is Chinese President Xi Jinping mixing an ice-cold bevy for you, and he asks, would you like a drink from the motherland? That's as political and as controversial as I'm going to get this week, because I want to talk to you about a Twitter account that's pretty imaginative. It's called the Republic of Bubble Tea. It was established on June 18th of this year, and they say, from this day forward, our country, aka Taiwan, shall be known as the Republic of Bubble Tea. This is our flag, and that's the flag right there.
That's cute.
It's got bubbles, it's got ice, it's got the milk tea.
It looks like an environmental straw, too. Like a paper straw or something.
That's right, nice. And it's so creative, and I love it very much. Now, there are three things that every Taiwanese national has. One is an ID card, one's a national health insurance card, and the other is a passport. Well, the Republic of Bubble Tea, they actually overhauled some of the original designs in favor of something a little more bubble tea oriented. This is the official ROBT national ID card.
That's cute.
Look at that.
I love that bubble.
Yeah, if you look at the bottom, that's Taiwan's presidential office redesigned as a cup of bubble tea.
Oh, that's
there you
cute.
go.
That's
and then
right.
this is what the original design looks like, and this is kind of what mine looks like, but I'm thinking about reapplying for a new ID under the Republic.
I think you'd look very nice on a bubble tea card there.
I think so too. Anyway, let's talk health insurance card, all right? Now, you know this is a health card because of the IV drip bag that's filled with bubble tea.
Delicious IV.
Maybe not recommended by your doctor, but you know.
Just in case if you had any doubt, there's the IV drip bag. The IC chip placement is a little strange to me. It's going to be a little hard for conventional card readers to detect, but this is what the original one looks like. Now, which one do you guys prefer?
I do like the bubble tea one. You can get a little drip of sugar if you need it.
Just a little bit. Talk about a sugar rush.
Yeah.
Anyway, every country has its own passport, right? Well, the ROBT is very mindful of this, and they came out with their very own travel document. Here, you'll see that the original green colors have been ditched in favor of something a little more milky and creamy. Also, the tapioca pearls in there are a little more colorful than the ones featured in other designs.
That's cute.
That's very cute.
Anyway, you can follow the Republic of Bubble Tea on Twitter at ROBubbleT, and there's a lot to sift through. There's a lot of fun in there, and they even have a national flower.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very cool. What is the national flower?
I'll leave it to you to find out.
And thanks for joining us on hashtag Taiwan. Be sure to follow us on all social media and leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.
And finally today, we're in Taiwan. Now at the top of the show, we showed you a photo and asked if you knew where it was. Let's take one more look at that photo.
Ooh. So we told you it was an amazing place that's offering a free night stay for foreign guests. It's actually the first in the world to do so.
And it looks like it has a little guard in front of it too, so it's probably a place you don't usually see people staying overnight, I'm going to say.
Right. So where in Taiwan is this? Well, let's take a look at this video.
Taiwan is voted the most friendly country in the world. We are grateful for this compliment from our friends around the world. Hello, I am Tsai Ing-wen, President of Taiwan. This is the presidential office building, a cornerstone in Taiwan's democracy. Come with me. I invite you to visit Taiwan and experience the warmth and hospitality of the people here. And while you're here, why don't you be my guest and spend a night at this presidential office building?
So the presidential office is offering a free night stay.
That's amazing.
And in order to apply, you need to be a foreigner and at least 20 years old. I think, Andrew, you qualify. You're 20 years old.
I'm at least 20 years old, I promise you.
So you can apply?
I might have to do that.
So you have to apply. You have to do it by August 31st.
Okay. So time is running out.
Yes. You should try.
Alrighty.
We can do a show from there. No.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. We'll do a Taiwan Insider from the presidential office.
That'd be cool.
Well, if you're interested, we're going to have the link to that below. And of course, we want to encourage you to connect with us on social media and leave a comment.
Yes, and check out all the information below for the links to all the topics we covered today. We hope that you enjoy Taiwan Insider. I am Natalie Tso.
And I'm Andrew Ryan. See you next week.